India's steel exports to drop 35 to 40% this year after duty revision. Prices are already down by 5,000 rupees. India's steel exports are expected to drop 35 to 40% on year to 10 to 12 million ton this fiscal, following the 15% export duty imposed on several finished steel products last month, according to data analyzed by CRISIL Research. Steel exports, which had reached a record high of 18.3 million ton last fiscal, continue to see momentum because of the disruption caused by the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russia is a key exporter of steel, coking coal and pig iron. In addition, the European Union's (EU) move to raise India's export quota, amid a widening differential between steel prices in the two geographies, benefited domestic steelmakers, and limited the impact of a 25% tariff on steel imports imposed by the EU. The duty-driven price correction will improve availability of steel in the domestic market as finished steel exports dwindle. This will directly impact India's export volume in the current fiscal. Steelmakers will attempt to skirt the duties by bumping up exports of alloyed steel and billets, but that is unlikely to compensate for the loss of finished steel exports, said Hetal Gandhi, director, CRISIL Research. While steel firms enjoyed fat realizations overseas, domestic demand grew 11% on year, driving domestic prices to all-time highs, said the report. This in turn resulted in soaring construction costs and multiple price hikes by makers of automobiles, consumer appliances and durables to pass on the increase, thereby damping domestic demand. The hike in export duty was aimed at curbing inflation. The government also hiked the export duty on iron ore to 50% and that on pellets to 45%, alongside slashing the import duty on coking coal, pulverized coal injection, PCI, coal and coke to 0% from 2.5%. The duty revisions will have a material impact on the export volumes of iron ore and pellets. Unlike steel, where specific grades were targeted, iron ore and pellets are effectively under a blanket export duty. The combined export volume of iron ore and pellets is expected to see a massive drop from 26 mount last fiscal to 8 to 10 mount in the current one, and bring about a sharp correction in domestic prices, said CRISIL. Merchant miners have already reduced iron ore prices by 25 to 35% since the announcement. The export duty imposition on steel and iron ore by the government was able to tame the uncapped rally in domestic steel prices. Steel prices, ex-factory, which averaged 77,000 rupees per ton in April, had already cooled off by 4,000 rupees to 5,000 per ton in early May, in line with global prices. The duty imposition has driven prices down further, as current prices stand close to 14,000 rupees to 15,000 per ton, lower than the April peak. Further, global prices have also corrected. Falling steel prices, in turn, have aided recovery in domestic demand. Auto production and construction activity picked up in June. With monsoon setting in, a seasonal moderation in demand is expected, which will put further downward pressure on steel prices. Correction in steel prices was already on the cards as global prices started correcting. The duty revisions have alleviated the uncertainties linked to global markets and set the tone for a quicker correction in the near term. As of mid-June, prices are already at 62,000 rupees to 64,000 per ton and can be expected to trend below 60,000 rupees per ton by the end of the fiscal, said Koustav Mazumdar, Associate Director, CRISIL Research.